I have 1 minute. Well, we just turned 7:30. You ready? Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, November 15th, 2021. Where are we? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Present, we have Mayor Keith Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Guinevere Depot, Councilor Rashad Carter, Councilor Paul Norris, Councilor Christine Piazza, Councilor Stephen Sheffield, and City Clerk Megan Peters. Excused, we have Director Ron Uhas and Councilor Lisa McCabe.
Okay. Please stand and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is recognition, awards, and memorials. I will turn over this portion to Mary Hill, the Parks and Rec Director, to award Scarecrow Trail Award, to present the Scarecrow Trail Awards. Mary, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone, Mayor and Council and invited guests. So we held our third annual Scarecrow Trail this year. We had 22 participants. It was a fun event. We got a lot of feedback of people enjoying going around and looking at the trail. So we award prizes first, second, and third in 4 different categories. And tonight we're going to honor our first place winners in our 4 categories. So I'll start with our funniest. Our funniest first place winner was Little Miss Muffet from Pleasant Street with Lori and Peter Burns.
Yeah, you actually get a trophy.
You get a trophy and a laminated picture of your Scarecrow. Thank you. Thank you for participating. We had spookiest. So our spookiest was Fester the dog catcher, Lori White from Ledred Avenue. Is she here today? Yeah. Here's your trophy and your picture of your Scarecrow. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Now we had most original. Most original, I believe, has been here before. Yes. So this is working 9 to 5, and it's Rachel Goodman from Monument Street and her family. Oh. Job well done. And we added a category this year, which was Best City Spirit. And tonight we're awarding the Bill Memorial Library for their interpretation of a Scarecrow of Clancy, who is actually present today, too, to help receive the award. Picture for your archives. Thank you, Clancy. Yes. I don't have those. Again, I'd like to thank everybody that participated in actually building Scarecrows, and then everybody that participated to go out and vote. We had quite a number of community members, not even just City Groton. We had people from New London, Norwich, everything that came in and voted for our Scarecrows and took a tour around our city. So it's an event that will continue to encourage participation. And again, congratulations to all the winners. I know one winner's actually got her plans already in place for next year, so I'm looking forward to that. And encourage anybody that does it. So, you know, it's a nice community event that I think will continue to grow as we move forward with this. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all. Congratulations. So I'm going to take a 5-minute recess so that we can get pictures, and then we'll come back. So right now we are in recess. Okay? The Mayor and Council session for the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting on Monday, November 15th is back in session. Receipt of citizen petitions.
Mayor,
Mayor,
can I, our recognitions and awards, can I say something?
okay, go ahead. Does council have anything else on their recognition awards and memorials? Go ahead, Councilor Carter.
Yep. I just want to congratulate, Groton Mystic Falcons Youth Cheer Squad. There's 4 different levels, minis, micros, juniors, and seniors. And out of the 4 divisions, we had our annual, cheer competition on Saturday. We got first place in 3 out of the 4 divisions.
Wow, very good.
And runner-up in the I believe it was junior. No, it was micros. You know, so congratulations to them. They,
Wow, very good.
They carried the league pretty much. The cheerleaders carried the league this year, which is good. So, congratulations.
Perfect. Anyone else for recognition awards and memorials? Councilor
What's her
Piazza.
name again? Thank you, Mayor. I want to recognize, it's not a well-known sport, or it is a well-known sport, but not recognized a lot, is the Fitch Co-op Girls Swim Team. And so it's with New London High School, Stonington, but Stonington does it every other year. And then also Marine Science and Fitch, they all swim together. So they went to ECCs, and then they had top contenders to go to the state championship trials, which were just a Saturday, and we had quite a few contenders that are going to the state finals. And so that's going to be tomorrow, and we have some good top contenders that may go to the Open. So I just want to say hoorah, Fitch Falcon and Co-op swim team, girls swim team.
So we wish them all good luck.
Thank
So
you.
that'll be good. Anyone else for recognitions, awards, and memorials? Okay. Receipt of citizen petitions, comments. Receipt of citizen petition is the portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens to address the council. Please sign a sheet on the table in front of the meeting room. When you are recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit email or written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during the responses to citizens' petitions portion of the meeting. Is there anyone that has signed up? No. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will move on, and therefore there's no response to the citizens' petitions, comments. Approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve the November 1st, 2021 Mayor and Council meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Communications and reports. Councilor Norris.
First, I was out and about this past weekend, speaking to some of my neighbors, and they wanted to commend you, Your Honor, as well as city staff for your responsiveness regarding the harbor management ordinance that was put forth. So on behalf of them, thank you very much. Last week, Monday, part of Committee 1, ED, did meet. It was a really good meeting. We did have Sarah Patrick and Linda from Planning that came to the meeting. We shared some ideas. A couple of things that came up was, one, we talked about events that came down to the beach, road races, that kind of stuff, and we say it's good for economic development, but we really do not capture that. So one of the suggestions that the deputy mayor had, which was really good, was maybe the next time we have those type of events at the beach, that we can contact their organizers and see if we can put information about the city in their race packets.
Okay.
To get more information about that.
Perfect. That's a good idea. My understanding is Ragnar is hoping to come back here, I think, May. Is that correct? In May? So we'll need to take that on as a lesson learned. Very
Right.
good.
We also touched on some of the council goals that were discussed in the past couple of months. So again, I wanted to thank you and staff for taking on some of those and thanking Christine over there to join in the youth advisory. Am I putting you on the spot or help? Or helping out with that. But there was one thing, and I didn't know where this should go, if this is a staff referral or something for committee number 2, was September is National Senior Citizens Month, and if we could talk about an activity or two that can take place next year, September, in recognition of our Groton City seniors. And if there is any financial impact to that, that staff at least consider it to put it in the fiscal year '23 budget.
Okay, so do you want to refer that to a committee, or do you want to send that to staff so that we can?
I'm actually asking for your guidance on that, because I don't know if it would be referral to a committee or to city staff at that point.
National Senior Citizen Month, who would that go? Well, it'd go to community development, but that would probably go to you, right, Mary? Okay, you want to take that on? Because I can just look at you and say, let's take a look at that, bring that on, and that way we don't have to go to committee, because it appears that can I get a consensus from council that you're okay with me sending it to staff without going to committee? Go ahead. No, I understand, and
I'm betting that probably the Parks and Rec director might already have ideas or have done stuff in the past.
Yep.
So it might make more sense to have it go to her first, and if she needs more input or guidance, we can always send it to committee after.
Right. All right. The other counselors? Okay, then Mary will go with that.
Thank you,
I'm
that's
sorry,
it. Your
please
Honor.
continue.
That was it, thank you.
Okay. Counselor Sheffield.
Nothing to report.
Okay, Counselor Piazza.
Nothing specific to the report. I'd just like to say that I've been more busy with, as far as the Fitch Co-op team, because my daughter does swim with them, but been busy with that. But also, too, I just wanted to bring up recognition. I guess it's more recognition, but in reference to I've been following, because it's been on the community forum as far as the traffic pattern over when we talked about it before. So I put on the pattern, how it was discussed at city council, but then somebody kind of poo-pooed that in some ways, but I was like, but it was taken care of. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. It does make a world of difference. There's still, I can see there's still a little confusion when I come off the bridge for some people, but it's way better. So I just wanted to say, so we're all following that, and I'm hoping to like form some type of committee at my work so we can get, the drivers are all over the place, so to report different kind of traffic patterns, different things that maybe are safer, not as safe, this is working, this is not. So that's what I'm hoping to
Well,
go with.
if you guys, if there's a decision to do that, and there's discussion about ways we could improve things here in the city, please you can let me know and let Chief Jenkins know, but we can also talk about it as a council so that the rest of the councilors are aware.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Anything else? Okay, Counselor Carter? Deputy Mayor Depot?
I also was going to mention our group meeting. I think our group in particular, because it includes economic development, has been talking a lot about how we can help the local businesses. So I just wanted to put out there, if anyone is a local business owner or needs a connection to our economic development department and doesn't feel like they've been reached out to, feel free to reach out to any of us. But in particular, our group, Councilor Norris, Councilor McCabe, and myself are on the group with economic development, and we have been talking a lot with Sierra Patrick and Leslie Cran about how we can get involved and maybe help promote the businesses and help them through the process of growing and changing to be better. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And it's been very productive group work, I think, between all of us. I attended the Veterans Day ceremony here in the Municipal building, which was very cool. Representative Courtney was here, and he spoke. But the speakers from the base are, I think, really cool to hear, because from my perspective, we don't get to hear them. Like, you're not usually at an event with the people who run the Navy base, and just lots of veterans in the room that are cool to chat with. And I would encourage, it's open to the public every year. We do it, so, well, we don't do it. It's done by the Elks, I believe, right? Or the
No,
Subvets?
this was put on by Subvets.
But it's open to the public every year. So on Veterans Day, there's always a ceremony, and I encourage people to find one and attend it. And the veterans really appreciate people's support. So on the 12th, on Friday, I wanted to thank all of the volunteers who came to the food box distribution, including Clerk Peters, who we just got soaked in that storm. But we had a lot of fun, and we gave out a lot of food, and all the people who came for food were really appreciative. And it ended up being a lot of fun, and even though the weather was terrible. And again, I just want to encourage, we have one every month. Follow our page. If you are looking for food, I made deliveries at the end of the afternoon to a couple places. We can deliver. Contact the mayor's office. And I just wanted to also, last thing, thank Groton Utilities and all of our staff that was involved in storm cleanup. I saw more trucks today because there's still stuff on the roads. But if anyone drove down Eastern Point Road and saw the damage caused by that tree that went across the road, we had power restored. In my experience, it was one of the longer outages we've had in at least where I live, because I live right near where the tree fell. And even that was, I don't even know if it might have been 10 hours or something like that. But for sure, any other place, it could have been 3 days to fix that, because they had to redo a whole telephone pole and put up new lines. So we are very lucky to have Groton Utilities. And I know people in the community forum were mentioning how appreciative they were that the power was not out longer. So just want to throw thanks to them for their hard work, because they were obviously working all night and cleaning up and fixing stuff. So, I lied. That wasn't my last thing. I have one more thing. This past yesterday, I rented the Zbierski house for a party, and I just want to remind people that the Z house is available for rental during the winter. There is heat. There are tables. You can fit lots of people in there. It's for rent any day of the week. So give a call to the Parks and Rec if you're interested in renting a place. I think it fits 50 people, I think is the amount. Is that right? You can fit 50 people in there. It's really nice if you don't want to host a party at your house. It's much easier cleanup. And Marco Frucht was very nice to unlock, and we chatted a little bit, and he came and locked it back up. And they do a great job keeping that place rentable and nice. So if you're looking for a place to have a little party, that's a good one.
And we've lifted all restrictions on Z House occupancy, right? Yes. Okay, so we can have full occupancy. At one point, we had reduced occupancy due to COVID.
Oh, yeah. I never have 50 people, so it doesn't matter. But, and that's really all. Sorry. All done.
Okay. Clerk Peters.
Hello. I also volunteered at the food box distribution, and although it was a very wet, rainy day, the volunteers were fantastic. We really had a fun time just laughing in the rain and jumping in the puddles, and we did give out all 300 boxes, so people out there still need food. So it was a very important day for us. Also, I live near where that big tree went down, and I thank Groton Utilities for the short 8 to 10 hour power outage. I also understand that it could have been much worse. So thank you very much to Groton Utilities.
Okay. So a couple things. One, the mask mandate is lifted. The last time we met, I don't think it had been lifted. Now it's lifted, and that's for the residents to know. So the mask mandate, the City of New London, City of Groton, Town of Groton, has been lifted. It is recommended if you're going into a crowded place, you're going to be within 6 feet, to still wear a mask, but there is no mandate. I agree on Groton Utilities. I'm extremely pleased. Groton Utilities has somewhat become, because they're so efficient, it's expected every time. So I received several texts at about the 4 or 5 hour mark and said, what is taking them so long? And I'm like, easy. We have a tree that came down, took a power line down, took a pole down. We do not own the pole. The pole was owned by SNET, so SNET had to be contacted. SNET had to come out, remove the pole so that we could set the new pole, so we could put the cross arms up so that we could then restore power. And those are the kinds of things that are going on. One of the things that is always a challenge with power outages is managing expectations. And so one of the things that I have advised Groton Utilities to be careful of, and we will not do this, we will not say you will have power on at 12 o'clock. Because at 12:01, you don't have power, and be like, they said 12 o'clock. So what we try to do is guide you in the direction. Here are the things that need to be done. They're going to take some time. We will keep you posted. And people seem to be better with that because they understand that there are things that need to be done. So I agree, Groton Utilities did a tremendous job once again. The food slosh drive was, I've never been so wet in my life, I don't think. We were all soaked. We did have tents, but the wind blew them away a little bit and kind of trashed them. So, you know, the best laid plans of mice and men and those kind of things. But we delivered the food. People were extremely grateful. We had a lot of people come out. There was a lot of folks that came out. We had to call the police for additional assistance. It got beyond our capability to manage traffic. So the message that I got from that is there's still people that have food insecurity. And as long as the city of Groton's here, we're going to continue to do what we can to address that. So Veterans Day was a great event. This event that was down here was put on by subvets. I received an email from someone who was not a submarine veteran that came down and did not feel necessarily comfortable and, you know, wanted to know why we didn't have a ceremony for all veterans. Well, this was typically hosted by subvets. One of the things we'll look at next time for next year is, do we want to do another Veterans Day ceremony where everybody feels welcome? I mean, one of the challenges you have here in southeastern Connecticut is there's a lot of we are submarine centric here. So you're going to find a lot of Navy people here. We still have Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, obviously, Army, National Guard, Marine Corps, everybody. I mean, the last week I sent out 25 cards to the veterans that we have here in the city of Groton and Groton Utilities, and they represent all branches. So, but we'll look at that again for next year. Okay. Anything else? All right, committee referrals. Are there any committee referrals? All right, moving on, new business. Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor Depot.
I received a request from a resident to review the possibility now that we have, a resident had gone to one of the workshops down on Thames Street at the Costa property, at Thames View Park now. Is the top part also called Thames View Park? Or
Yep.
just- okay. So they were down at Thames View Park for the workshop, which they thought was amazing. They love the workshops in the city, which is great, but they made a suggestion that maybe not this year because it's a little late, but maybe next year we put up a Christmas tree on that property. I don't know if that's possible. They just, they made the suggestion.
We are evaluating that.
Okay.
We're evaluating to see if we can do it this year.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I
that'd be
don't
cool.
know if we're going to be able to make it. That's why I haven't said anything yet, because
Oh, sorry.
It's on the back of a napkin stage. There's still a few things that we need to get ironed out in order to make this happen, but we are looking at doing some sort of tree lighting. We're looking to see if we can do a tree lighting down on Upper Thingsview Park
Okay.
this year. We do listen at the workshops. We hear things and
Well, I don't know if
We-
this person particularly had mentioned it at
they
the
may not
workshop,
have.
but they mentioned it to me separately.
well, and we used to have lights out front. We had trees out front, Colorado spruce, and they were mangled in some storms and were starting to die, so we ended up cutting them down. So, and we have not gotten replacements for them yet. I would like to get replacements back out there so that we can decorate here, so. But there are a couple things that we're looking to do for the holidays to brighten up the city of Groton. Thank you. All right, anything else? All right, new business, Councilor Norris?
R-21-11-171, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council initially approve an ordinance approving revisions to the existing sewer rate schedule for the City of Groton Department of Utilities wastewater division for all sewer service located within the City of Groton to be effective for sewer service billed on and after February 1st, 2022, on and after February 1st, 2023, and on and after February 1st, 2024. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This has, there was a public hearing that we had, and then the Utility Commission had a special meeting and voted on this. In a nutshell, the rate change is a 3% per year for the next 3 years. And this is the service, these are the service charges and then the rate per cubic foot of use. The cost of service study basically shows that for the average user, the cost is around $1.07 per month. So the way that I equated that is it's about the cost of a large pizza per year increase. That's for the average user. Obviously, your sewer rate is going to go up based on, if you use more water, then there's more water you're going to process and you'll pay more. But that was based on a cost of service study that was conducted, and this is the proposed rates. I thought that's all.
I was
do?
waiting for you to say any
Okay,
discussion.
I'm sorry. Any further discussion? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Depot.
So I have been asked about this several times, and I have been telling people for the average customer with your meter, because if you look at the whole list, there's more than one meter on here, but with the average meter, it's about $1. Can people contact customer service to have their rate looked at, like what they've paid for the last year, how much it would go up for them?
Absolutely. If you want to reach out to customer service, the number is 860-446-4000. And you can ask your question and they have access to your usage. And they can go back and look at what the bill was then and compare for what the new bill would be, to give you an idea. Now, remember, we all use water differently. Hold on. The same individuals, the same family uses water different during different times of the year, right? Typically, the summer months are higher usage than are the winter months. So if your bill goes up in the summer, that's really to be expected. It's not going up because the rate changed. It's going up because you're using more water. And that's for water and for sewer.
Can you repeat that?
So, for example, in my family, and I'll speak for me, we have a raised bed. We have raised bed gardens. And my wife waters generously. And so my water bill, water usage, and then therefore my sewer usage goes up because your sewer fee is based on your water usage. Now, that brings up a question. People say, well, I shouldn't be charged for that because the water's not going in the sewer. In that case, people can get deduct meters. There have been people that have got meters so that the water that goes to like your pool or washing, or your lawns or washing trucks, cars, whatever, you only pay for the water, you're not paying for the sewer. But people tend to use more water in the summertime. So the same family's bill, if you go back and look at your bill, you follow 12 months of bill, you see that your usage typically in the wintertime is lower, and then it creeps up and it peaks during the Jason months, June, July, August, September, October, November, during those right around there. Typically, June, July, August are the three highest months. So one of the things that we, one of the lessons learned from this is when we rolled this out the very first time, we rolled it out in July. And that ends up being a very high water usage month, and people's bills were high, and they weren't used to getting a bill for sewer, and for them, it was a new bill, and people made there was a lot of comments about that. What we're doing now is we're rolling this out in the winter months so that the impact will not be as stark. We had to roll it out when we rolled it out the first time because it had to coincide with the fiscal year, since we were removing the sewer out of the tax base and putting it into an enterprise account.
Yeah, I understand that. I also think there's a couple, COVID for one, more people at home. I think
Yep.
that kind of keep those numbers up. So I don't know. I guess I think prior to putting it or taking it from the tax base to now, I really don't know if we really, is it fair to say that we do have any accurate numbers as to prior, because it was around the same time where we took it out of the base, the tax base, into what we were doing currently, and then COVID hit. So.
Well, we don't have anything to compare
There's no
to prior to
comparison,
that.
I'm saying, yeah, I think, yeah, okay, that's fine. We're good.
Councilor Sheffield?
I'm not sure if there'll be a question possibly for Ron Gaudet as far as after these, this is a 3-year contract, correct, for this
This is,
3-year ordinance?
yes, this is a 3-year rate increase.
Yeah, so after the 3-year, and since inflation jumped up 6.2%, will that affect after, will we have to renegotiate the terms of a new ordinance, so to speak, to where, do we have to, would there be an adjustment potentially?
Let me answer your question. You have a couple questions there. Let me answer those. The rate of inflation that was put in the cost of service study was a 5% inflation rate over the next 3 years.
Okay.
Because they knew inflation was coming, and so they estimated 5% over the next 3 years. So that's one part of it. The answer to your second part of the question is, will we have another, I'm gonna rephrase your question.
Right.
Will we have another cost of service study? The answer is yes. We'll have another cost of service study, and then that cost of service study will then come up with numbers of, do we keep it the same, do we go up, or do you go down? We're probably never gonna go down, because the cost of service study is built based on maintaining the infrastructure at 50% value. We're trying to get up to there. We know that we were underfunded during previous years. That's one of the reasons we brought it out. We now have cash on hand. We now have the ability to bond. We're in the middle of a study for the sewer now that's being done that we already have capital projects forecast, but we're ready to change those based on what this study identifies. It'll either validate that we're on the right track, or it will reset our track for capital improvements in the wastewater. Councilor Piazza.
I just want to, I know we discussed it last meeting, so I looked at my own utility bill, and I just wanted to speak for some people. because we do have a lot of people that I'm around that struggle. And we are coming out of COVID season, and people are still trying to get their nose above water. Even though it seems like it's just $1, but when I calculate it, it's actually $3.50 a month more for me if you're taking in the monthly service charge and also the increase. So that's actually 3 pizzas a year. But by the time 2024 comes, I'm gonna be $6.75 more a month, which you're looking at about 70-something dollars.
That's based on your usage?
On my usage itself, correct. So that, what I was saying, and I know I'm not the same as everybody else, but I am looking, you know, my constituents that I work with and people that I know that are truly struggling. I have to say, I am quite begrudgingly about the increase. I've been really back and forth with it. I mean, I understand that, I mean, the budgets are set. I hear what you're saying, but I also feel like we're doing food distribution, which is telling us that people are struggling still. So, but then we're gonna come in this way. I'm not saying it's the only thing, but it's not just, so we have our raised stuff here, but food is on the up, construction stuff is on the up. Everything people are doing is, everything's on the up. Almost every bill that they have is on the up.
Yep.
So I just want to make note that my heart and my emotions in this is to watch and talk to people who are struggling. That it's very difficult for me to in agreement with this.
Understand. Deputy Mayor Depot. And then Councilor Carter.
To piggyback a little bit on what Councilor Piazza said, because I've talked to people about the increase, and while we are voting for a 3-year increase, that doesn't mean that we as a council can't review the budget every year. And if we don't feel like the money is being appropriately spent, I think that that's, in my opinion, that's part of our job to do when we review the budget. So the increase is based on a cost of service study that, you know, the numbers on it, we do have to, I do think it's important to maintain the infrastructure of the sewer system, which we were not doing before. Well, not we, I wasn't on the council, but it wasn't being done before. And I do think that it's important to make sure that we have enough cash on hand, that if something goes wrong, that we don't have delays and insurance claims and all of these things that were happening previously. But I do feel like, and I told constituents, that I will be paying special attention to the sewer budget when it comes around, because I have gotten a few questions about the rate change. So part of, to me, being on the council enables us to do a better job and do a deeper dive on the budget than a regular resident probably can. So that is kind of how my head, that's what I'm thinking about this thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Councilor Carter, you have the floor.
I'm in agreement with moving this forward. And that's why I didn't really add to my last comment. It's, you know, I remember when we first got it from the tax base and moved it on, one of my major concerns was, you know, it wasn't only an extra cost. We have a lot of renters in this, people that rent in this community, and that's an added expense towards them if they're not a homeowner, you know. So I think the gradual, subtle increases over time would kind of get me more kind of, you know, what was the point? That's where, you know, there's people definitely getting hurt, you know, in this. But I do think this increase is needed. Counselor Sheffield's question, though, in regards to some sort of, you know, renegotiation after 3 years, I mean, 3 years is 3 years from now, but that's what concerns me. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right, this.
Well, let me compare this to electric and water. So if you look at our electric and water, every 3 years, we do a cost of service study, and then we look at rates. So the only reason I'm saying is this is now a utility that is under Groton Utilities, and they're gonna treat it like they do
Yeah.
the other divisions, the water and electric.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm talking about as far as, and I understand what you're saying, you have to, but I'm talking about some of the questions that we had prior to, from getting it out of the tax bases to now. Like I said, if you're a renter on a fixed income, you have the owner of the building paying for the sewage. Now we have it where the renter's paying, and that's added over time, that's an added cost. That was the only thing that I'm saying.
Well, and I understand your concern. The research that we've done is we've identified there's about 64 or 60, either 64.7 or 67.4% of residents in the city of Groton are renters. What we found in this is that there are some renters that are paying their own utilities, and there are some renters that utilities are included in the rent. So the renters, as this goes up, then it may change their rent, or for those that are paying their utilities, then they will see it directly.
I understand. I'm
Okay.
just saying moving forward, this is essentially it's no different than a tax increase. It's just not calling it a tax increase over time.
Right, but I want to draw a differentiation between taxes and this, because there are people out there who are going to call us a sewer tax. It's not a tax,
I
it's a
understand.
fee.
I got you, but out
Right.
of somebody's pocket, it's the same. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Okay.
I mean, if you're paying out of your pocket, you're paying out of your pocket, doesn't matter if it comes out of this pocket or comes out of that pocket, it's still coming out. I get it, and I understand your concern.
If I may.
Counselor Norris.
I'm pleased to see this conversation rolling here, and I hope this passion continues when we start to talk about the fiscal '23 budget and the impact on the residents then. I do look at this as no different than an electricity bill, to be very honest with you. I do see that if you are a renter or not, you're paying this either in your rent and your landlord was going to increase your rent to cover that cost, or you're doing it. I do understand the concern of the gradual increase along the way, but I think it's very fiscally responsible to do it this way, in opposed to picking one number and having that increase fall forward for the next 5 years. So I think this is a prudent way of doing this. So I'm in favor of this.
The other concern that I brought up to utilities when I was briefed is that the utilities looks at each of their divisions separately. So they look at electric, and they look at water, and they look at sewer. So if you look at sewer, the customer base of sewer are City of Groton residents plus the North Slope up on Walker Hill. If you look at electric users, it is the City of Groton residents, then some in the town, and some spread out a little further. If you look at water, water is more regional. So it's in the city, in the town, goes up to Ledyard and those kind of things. So there are more, it's a larger base that is spread out over. The thing that I brought to Groton Utilities' attention is this. Right now, they're focusing on sewer. And I said, I get this, you're saying it's just a 3% increase. The problem with that is they just had a 3% increase in electric, and they just had a 4% increase in water. So if you look at utilities, the utilities are going up here, and they're going up there, and they're going up there. We're still less than Eversource, but if you're the user here, you're feeling what you feel now, right? Going to your point and going to your point. And actually all three of your points, is that people are feeling the pressure, and they're not getting a 5 or 6% raise, and yet everything around them is feeling upward pressure. So I understand. I understand where you're coming from. The other issue, and this is, I'm not saying this is a counter, is that you have to maintain the infrastructure. And if we don't do it now, you're gonna have to pay for it later. And pay it for it later could be larger increases or could be a surcharge. And we have not, I don't think, either ever in the history of Groton Utilities or in a very long time have we had an added surcharge to cover something that failed catastrophically. So, and other utilities have had that before. So, Deputy Mayor Depot.
I know I've said this before, but for anyone that does need assistance with utilities, electric, water, or sewer, there are resources, and I believe that customer service can point them to them.
Absolutely. Customer service works with TVCCA and with other organizations to, they work with other organizations to help get relief. The other thing that customer service does, and they did very well during COVID, is they will work with customers to come up with a payment plan so that we want people to be successful. We don't want, the utility does not want to turn off power or water or anything else. So, Ron, do you have anything that you would like to add or say regarding this? Not really. Okay. Commissioner Zuliani, would you like to, if so, I'll need to get you at a mic, but
I would,
Huh?
the information I would like to share would take too long for this meeting.
okay.
I would like to talk to councilors at some other time.
So counselors, I will point you in the direction of counselors, or Commissioner Zuliani, if you have questions for him, because he looked hard at the numbers. He's my finance guy on the utility commission that I look to help make sure that we're going in the right direction. In addition to the other commissioners, but he can talk to you some more if you have any. Or if you have other questions, please send them to me and I will get you the answer and get it back to all of the counselors. That's important to me that everybody knows all the same information. Commissioner Zuliani.
I understand your feelings towards the rate increase for people who can't afford it, but there's some history here that needs, for those who don't
Thank you,
know
Clerk
me,
Peters.
my name is Robert Zuliani. I've lived in the city all my life. I've been on your council position for 4 years. I know a lot about the city. I love this place just as much as you do. The emotions is coming out, what you're seeing right now, and I totally understand. You got people who are in need, but you also have to run a business here. And what you're looking at is a decision as to, can we do this or not do this for those people? And you got to understand, there's some history you don't have right now. It goes back a while on why things are done the way they are. And I'd like to sit down with you all sometime at your convenience and show you, for example, you brought up the before, when it used to be a tax, and the connection of how that was financed versus what the mayor did by turning it into a department-funded program, which is all-inclusive. There's things that being done now that protect the city long-term, and that's why, that's the position you're in right now, is the change. A lot of the people don't understand what happened before and after. They just saw this increase, and they don't want to put up with it. But logically, you need to understand that, in my opinion, to help you make this decision, and I'd be glad to offer my time to sit down with you at any time to do that.
That's good.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, Councilor Piazza?
I just don't want my comment to be distorted as my vote, also how I'm seen. So, but also one of the advantages I don't have is the history of how things have come to be. So it takes a lot of time to look at the history of these agendas for myself. I take a lot of time and look back as best as I can. So I'm at a disadvantage in that. I want to say, I do want to make a great point for Groton Utilities. I'm thankful to have them. I think they do a wonderful job. As a bus driver, when we were driving in the storm and people were going crazy about it and kids trying to get home, and there was wires down in trees and we had to figure out how we're going to reroute, get out, whatever. I mean, I really feel like they were really on it and clearing those lines and clearing the trees. I'm very thankful for that. I'm just speaking from this is not just for myself, but when you have people coming to you with their hearts and their struggles and so forth, I just wanted to put it on the table.
Understand. And me as the mayor and you as councilors were elected to represent all the people out there. We represent people that voted for us. We represent people that voted against us. And we represent the people that didn't vote at all. So we're there, and if people come to you with questions and comments, it is up to us to take those questions and comments and then bring them here to the public forum. So, good. Any other questions or comments on this motion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you have a great week, and thanks for what you do.